So this is Magpie by Stephen Fretwell. Like, if anyone ever asked me what my desert island disc is, it's this.
Yeah.
And I feel like it's a very... Because I was going to bring the Beatles.
Yeah.
Because they're a close second, but this is my go-to.
Yeah. So is this an album that you've been a fan of for a long time then?
Oh yeah, it's actually mad because my dad, I mean everything stems back to my dad, but my dad's been playing this for years. Like he's like one of the OG fans, I feel like, but like for whatever reason I never took any notice of it, which is a bit mad because I normally take notice of everything that he plays.
So is this an album that he would play? Like,
yeah,
what, in the car or
he'd honestly play it. Like, there's a song on this called Emily, and he used to play it, like, all the time. But then when I was, like, 11, I got really into Gavin and Stacey and the opening tune.
Yeah, which I didn't actually know when I played the album.
Yeah.
And it was so weird.
People never made the connection.
Yeah, because I was like, oh, this is like giving me a sort of like mid-2000s like Gavin and Stacey vibe, and I was like, maybe I can tell you that, but it's like, oh no, because then you'll think I'm like super uncool. But then like the line came on, I was like, it is this song, and it was like such a strange experience.
But yeah, so when I got into it, like I was like really into that song.
Yeah.
So started like researching about this fella, and I remember I went downstairs to my dad and I was like, oh Dad, like I found this unreal fella, like Stephen Fretwell, and he was like, I've been playing him for years, Kady, like come on. So then that was like the start of me getting into this album, which was nice.
Yeah. So what type of age was that when you found it to begin with? Because you said the album came out in 2004.
Yeah. So this was probably like when I was like 11 maybe.
Oh, okay, yeah. So what about the album was interesting to you, or like why did you like it? Was it just because of the TV show?
Well, it was like because I was obsessed with I still am obsessed with Gavin and Stacey, but it was probably like I recognised it without knowing because my dad had played it so much. Yeah. So like naturally I got into it. Yeah. But I don't know, it's just like, I just think he's unreal. Yeah,
I feel like it's a very introspective, somber album there.
Yeah.
And do you feel like that was what appealed to you, or was it...
I mean, probably because like, my dad like grew me up on singer-songwriters like Neil Young, like Nick Drake, Bob Dylan, like people like that. Yeah. So I think naturally, like, I was into that sort of tone anyway.
Yeah. I feel like as a kid who was about 10 or 11, I don't think I was into like that sort of like moody music as much. I feel like that came more like in my like towards the end of my teens.
But this is what I mean.
You were like fully in the trenches.
Yeah. But this is what I mean when I say like I would go around to friends' houses and their mums and dads would be playing like Duran Duran or something, and I'd be like, let's put some Nick Drake on, guys.
Everyone's like, wow, this is so uncool.
Yeah.
But it feels like he's using like a very small like colour palette to paint like a really detailed picture, which is what I like. And the same with like the words that he says, like he says the same lines quite a lot. And like very small amounts of like the details, but then it paints such a really good picture.
Yeah. So because like one of my favourite songs on the album is just an untitled tune, and that's just purely piano. Yeah. But it's nice because like my dad's seen him like every time he came to Liverpool he saw Fretwell, but then Fretwell disappeared for like 12 years. Yeah. So I never thought I'd ever get to see him live. Yeah. But my dad would always talk about how, because like instrumentally on the album it's not that wide, when he was doing when he would play live it would sound exactly like the album because he'd just have like a piano, a guitar and a drum, and like that would be the sort of buzz, which is nice.
Yeah. Is there a specific place or situation that comes to mind when you play this album now? Like, does it transport you back to anywhere in particular?
You know what? It actually, like, when I listen to Emily, I am just like transported back to my dad playing it in the kitchen. In the kitchen. Because now I can like remember times that he would play it all the time.
Yeah. What would he cook in the kitchen whilst playing that song?
Is there
any foods?
He'd probably be making soda bread.
Oh, nice.
Or some sort of like lentil soup. But it's nice also because like my mum and my brother aren't massively into music as much as like me and my dad are. Yeah. But this, like, Emily is like a tune that even they would know and they would sing along to, which like shows how much my dad's blasted it. Yeah.
So do you feel like you've got a bond with your dad that maybe they don't have because you're both sort of got like all these shared experiences to do with art?
I mean, I reckon that side of me comes naturally from my dad, but then it's like my brother's got the footy with my dad. Okay. So it's nice that we both have things that we've taken from. Yeah. Like, it's just mad to me that like me and Cormac were indoctrinated by the same tunes our whole life, and he didn't really take any away from it, whereas I did. But then I'm naturally more creative than he is, so I don't know, it kind of weighs up nice. Yeah. So when I was getting into him and the album, I was like into like the Arctic Monkeys, like loads of like early 2010 bands. Yeah. And now I like look back and I'm read interviews. Yeah. And like Alex Turner will say that he's really inspired by Stephen Fretwell, and like
that's interesting.
Catfish is like really inspired by Fretwell. Yeah. So it's just mad because I feel like I came to it backwards. Like I should have discovered him and then saw the influences, but yeah, it's definitely shaped me. Yeah,
it's like a closed, like a loop. Yeah, that's interesting. I've had the same kind of things with like a lot of the artists that I found, and it turns out that they've actually been inspired by the artists that I found as a result of their music. Yeah. It's like so.
It is
so
mad.
Weird. It's like a shared loop of like consciousness.
Yeah.
It's weird. And
but then it also it's like, oh, this actually makes sense as to why I'm into all these people, because they're all shared and loop into each other. Yeah. And why do you think you're such a music person? Because I feel like out of all the people I know, I feel like you've got like the widest taste, and you like music like more than average, I'd say. But why do you think that is? I honestly just think because that's what my dad's like, and like my dad's and all his mates are like that. Yeah. So it's just like naturally I grew up like going to like parties with my mum and dad, and my dad would be in like a 4-hour conversation about an album with someone, and that's just like what it was. Yeah. And I think also like I used to be dead shy. Yeah. And when I like have little breakdowns about like not being able to talk to someone, or like being too scared to like introduce myself to someone, my dad would always be like, just talk about music, just chat about music, because I could so confidently talk about it and like what I liked, and I was so interested in like getting to know, because like that's why I do the radio show, because I love listening to people talk about what music means to them and like what got them into it and everything like that. So
what do you enjoy about it?
I just love like when people's faces light up. When they're talking about, because also I think like digesting music is such a personal experience. Like someone can recommend an album to you and say it's great, but they can't truly understand how you're going to experience it.
Yeah, and they can't explain all of the ideas that come into their head. Like because of the music, and but it's like as close as you can get, I think, like to share an album with someone and then talk to them about it and have a shared experience with the other person and with the artist too.
Yeah, exactly. Because that's why I love, like, I went to so many, I was basically at a gig every weekend in my teen years, and that's what I loved about how, like, even though me and my 3 mates that went to gigs all the time, we're into the same album.
Yeah.
And we go to the same gigs, we all had, like, a completely different experience, like, from each other, which is so nice.
Yeah.
Oh no, my lace.
Do you want to tie?
Can you hold that?
Yeah. It's an interesting album cover.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm into it.
Yeah, same. If you could sum up the album in one word, what would it be? That's such a terrible question, but it's the best one that I've got.
I would say boss.
I think that's a good place to end it.